Everyone, welcome back here to Building Brick Studios, and today I have the second episode of my brand new LEGO CGI tutorial. Before this tutorial gets underway, I want to apologize for people who were waiting. Sorry it took a little bit longer, and I am sorry if you hear some kind of, you may hear a little bit of an echo going on. I'm not really sure what that is, trying to figure that out. But anyways, I just wanted to get out another tutorial, guys, on more advanced stuff for starting out your animations and how to do it. Because there aren't as many great tutorials on YouTube, and many of them are outdated and whatnot for Legos. So let's just get started. So last tutorial I taught you guys how to import 3D Studio and how to convert to the different types of files. So today I'm going to get more into how to animate and what you'll be doing with the different ships and whatnot. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to import, which one do I want to import? Let's go ahead and import the, where is it? Looking for it, Millennium, okay, there we go, Millennium Falcon. Alright, so, and then we're going to right click on this cube, X, and delete that. Beautiful. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in here with my mouse pad. I'm just going to make this window over here a little bit bigger. I'm just going to select any piece, and then I am going to press Z to go enter wireframe mode, and then B to box select, click and drag. And then I'm going to press Control J, and now it is all one mesh. And then I'm just going to double click on this and rename it, let's rename it Falcon. Alright, there we go. That's just a little nickname. It's important to nickname some things. And so if we press 0, we can see what our camera sees. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And now, so you guys also should know that there's two different ways to render out your image. There's two different render systems. There's Blender render and then there's Cycles render, which it depends on what type of a computer you have. If you have a higher computer for rendering and whatnot, Cycles render is recommended, but if your computer is not quite as quickly, Blender render still gives you like the overall effect. But anyways, so what we're going to do is, now that we have this in, we're just going to come over here to the world. I'm just going to add a little bit of environmental lighting, just so we can see things a little bit better, and I'm just going to make this 0.6. Alright, so now if we are in regular Blender render and we click render image, we may see some, that actually looks pretty good. Let's check out Cycles render, see the differences. Yeah, okay. But anyways, so when you're in Cycles render and Blender render, I'm just going to stick to Blender render for right now because we're not getting into too advanced stuff yet. We're going to come over here, and you may, on your ship, you may not like for instance, like the color of the black, or you may want to change the material or texture of what's going on. And you can do this in both what do you want to call this here? Rendering options, but I'm just going to stick to Blender render. But so anyways, let's say we want to change, if we render out an image here, and let's say, let's try and get this blue back here to glow, because it's not really glowing when we render, and usually with ships, the back material is going to be glowing, right? So over here you can see all of our materials, and this is every single color that is on this model right over here. So this is the dark blue, which is right here. So I'm going to click on that, and then you see a bunch of interesting settings down here, which honestly is up to you to experiment around with. But some really cool things you can do. You can make it like emit light, which is really interesting. Which obviously that doesn't give you a glowing effect. Well, I mean, it kind of does. And then you can change like the translucency. You know, there's like all different kinds of things in here that you can do to change it to the way you want it to look. It's also good here to be able to look at your preview, to change this to how you want it. So you can do different things in here. I'm just going to kind of play around with it. Here's the transparency. If we do another render image, you can see how it's starting to look transparent, and you can see those other pieces below it. So see, basically it's all up to you. The transparency is right here. You'll learn it as you kind of go through, but there's a bunch of different, like you can turn shadows on and off, which is really cool down here. But for right now, we're just going to keep it with this glow type of thing. Some other things in here, you can make it be like a mirror if you were reflecting something. Subsurface scattering is different. That's more advanced and will take up more rendering time if you do try to use that. But you can see that's basics in here. But if you come over here to cycles render, you can see that it's a lot different. Which is why you can set it up in either Blender render or cycles render, because you come into cycles render and you see it's obviously not there. So if you click use nodes right here, this is in cycles render, by the way, in case you're using cycles render because you have a faster computer. What we can do is you can here are all the different shaders, so like refraction, ambient occlusion, mix shader, emission. There's a lot of different ones. So if we come and then let's just see what that change look like. See, we did the emission, and now we have it looks much cooler. That looks pretty cool. And then so basically when you click use nodes, if you want a bigger view of what your texture or material is doing, come over here in the windows and here's the node editor right over here. And here's basically what you're doing. And so let's say we wanted to add something to this emission to make it look better. We can click Shift A. We can add a shader and a mix shader. Now this is going to put two different textures together. So if we have emission and then let's have like transparent over here, and then we put this into this and this and this. This is quite a complex, but this is a process. But you'll learn it as you do more experimenting and whatnot. And now you can see that it's starting to look more and more realistic. So we can turn up the emission quite a lot. Let's say we make it like 6. And just for the heck of it, if we go back into, actually no, let's just create a new window. And let's press N on this side just to get rid of this menu and then this menu. And then we'll come over here and we'll put this into the 3D view. So now we can do two things at once. Let's right over here, let's just go into the camera, what the camera's seeing. Okay, and now let's press Shift A and let's just add a plane. It's probably going to be up here. Just click on the arrows and then just bring that down. Now if we kind of zoom in over here, let's just press the S tool and let's just scale tool and let's just scale it up just so that we can kind of see that emission like a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Alright, we can bring this plane up just a little bit. So now let's go into the render and let's render another image. And you can see that that looks really cool. Definitely a lot cooler than Blender render for sure. That just looks really epic. Now if we were to spin the ship around here, let's just kind of put it by its side here, and you can play around with the transparency and whatnot. We can maybe make the strength even stronger. Let's put it up to 10. Like I said, guys, this is just a big experimental process. Render the image on this screen this time. Look at that. That looks really cool. It looks like it's really like, you know, bursting and whatnot. So that's really cool. And if you wanted to do a different texture, let's say you wanted to edit the red. See this red in here? Maybe we're going to click Use Nodes, and then this pops up over here. Let's say we wanted it to be, maybe we want glossy. Let's just try making it glossy and see how that works. See if we render an image. It takes a lot of experimenting and cool stuff. Let's see. So we're gonna make this glossy. Where is our? Okay, yeah. So you can kind of see that this will change over here a little bit. Let's add something. Let's add a. where is it? Shader. We're going to add our mix shader. And then we're going to disconnect these two and put this in here and this in here. And this is a very simple texture that we're doing. Let's add a glass. Let's see what that does for us. And you can also like change the color to be like darker or whatever you want, whatever you're looking for really. So let's try rendering it again. So yeah, you can see it definitely looks different. It's just that there's no light to show the glossiness. So maybe if we get rid of the X and we add an emission here. Like I said, it's all an experimental process. You can look up a tutorial on nodes. It doesn't have to be like Lego. Like you can still learn. I'm not a super professional at nodes. I just know like the basics to them. Just for doing like simple, you know, for changing the materials to whatever I may want to change it to. So anyways, let's see if this looks good. Okay, wow, so yeah, that definitely changed it. Change it to white. We gotta change the emission color to like red or something like that. And you can see now that's kind of, now it's almost like the Millennium Falcon has like lights and stuff, which is pretty cool. You know, turn up the strength on that. And that looks like, now it looks like it's got some pretty cool lights going on and whatnot, which is really cool. Sorry, I say that word a lot. Anyway, so if we come, let's just go into back into our 3D view. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this over here. Whoops, not that. We're going to click on this and we're going to pull it over so we can see this little arrow, and that's how you can close out windows if you ever accidentally create one. So we got this really sick looking image here. Looks really cool. You may see that there's some noise down here. What we can do if you're in cycles, you can come down here to the sampling inside the camera, and in render you can change the samples. I'll just change it up to like 50, which will look nice. Let's go back in here to our 3D view. Let's render another image of that. So before you ever start animating, it's always good to first like get your model textured the way you want it and all rigged and looking really nice, and that looks really cool. I love how it looks like there's like lights and then the emission of the, like, what do you want to call that, the flames at the back of the ship looks very nice. So I'm just going to make this plane a little bit bigger, and we could even change the, so you can see, we can still see a little bit of this. I'm just going to try to, just so that we don't see the, let's just make it bigger. There we go. Okay, so now what we could do is we could actually make this floor right here, we can make this floor glossy. So we can just come over here to glossy, and this will just look pretty cool. Do that. Let's see what that looks like. Yes, and now we are getting, as you can see down here, we're getting a really cool reflection. So this is kind of like the inside of like a hangar bay or something like that. But I'm just using this floor just as an example, maybe a little bit too much. By the way, if you press Shift B and then you select, it'll only render this area of the camera. That way it saves rendering time, so you don't have to render like the full view of it. So we turn the roughness up to 0.5, and we're just going to enter that. Now let's just render this little section down here and see what this looks like. Okay, cool. So now it's not like a super harsh reflection. That looks great. So let's just say that we're done like putting together. Just press Escape to get out of that, and then Shift B again to select the whole window, just so it renders the whole thing. Let's just render an image of that real quick. So let's say you have your model all set to go. You have it all textured, you have your environment laid out, which in the next episode I'll probably get into like how to build like complex environments and like cool things like that. So now that you know basics on cycles render and blender render, I'm going to show you a quick way to do an animation. This is going to be a very simple one. We'll get into advanced animations probably in the next episode, and I'll set up a terrain and whatnot. Oh my gosh, I need to stop saying that. Okay, anyways, so that looks really nice. We got cool reflection going on, a nice, there's still a little bit of noise down here, but like I said, you could always up the samples in your spare time. That will take a little bit more rendering time, but you know, it's cool. So anyways, that's what you want to do for your final product. So anyways, this down here is your timeline. I'm going to open this up just a little bit more so I can get a better view of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. Let's just say we want this ship. This is going to be very simple. We just want it to go upwards. And then maybe we'll have it like fly out of there. Command Z just to put it to undo. So I'm going to have this right clicked. I'm going to come over here. So make sure I'm on my first frame. And I'm going to come over here to the animation tab. I'm going to click Insert Location. And now, debating on how long I want, let's see, right now we are running at 24 frames per second, which is a good start. So let's say it takes, let's go to frame 30. So it'll take a little over a second for the ship to go upwards. So it's going to zoom up. We're going to press Insert Location again. And now if we kind of backspace over here, we press the play button, we can see it's going to move up. Ooh, that's so cool. So now that we have it up like this, alright, very cool. I'm just going to undo that. Now, let's just go like, say, 4 frames or 3 frames in advance to frame 33. Let's click Insert Location. And then let's just come up to, say, frame 60 or so. And then have it just move it all the way out there. Insert Location. And now, let's just kind of play it. Let's press our end time. Let's end it at 80 frames just so it's more centered. I just pressed the middle mouse wheel and just kind of wheeled it over here. So now let's just press play. It goes up and then boom, it takes off. Like a quick getaway or something like that. So now we can render the image. See what that looks like. Cycles render definitely looks cooler and it's definitely more accurate with light, so I definitely recommend doing cycles render, but I did start out in Blender render before I got to be more advanced. But you can see that this image is really cool. Like we got the light going, it's reflecting off the bottom, it's glossy, we got some cool shadows going on, and it just looks really cool. That's a really nice image right there. And so now what you're going to want to do is if you want to render this video, you're going to want to know how, right? So make sure you're in your render tab over here. And this resolution over here, it's default set to 1920 by 1080. You have compression on 50%. It's only going to do half of this amount of pixels and half of this. So it'll come out as like 720 something. So if you want it to be 1920 by 1080, make sure you put this all the way up to 100%. Keep in mind it will take longer. So I'm just going to keep it at 50% right now. 50% is good for like when you're still testing things out. When it's a final, you want it like highest resolution. So now we're going to come over here, our output. We're just going to click on this little box over here, and then we're just going to click desktop or wherever you want to save it to. Next, we're going to come over here. We're going to uncheck overwrite just in case you render multiple times. And then we're going to come over here to the PNG, and there are all different types of movie files which you're going to want to try out. Whichever one suits you best. QuickTime is definitely the fastest one for me. Well, it's not even faster, it's just one that opens the best and is the most compatible. So I recommend QuickTime. AVI Raw will open in pretty much everything, and of course MPEG is always a good one as well. Haven't really experimented too much with the other ones. I usually just go straight to QuickTime because that's an MP4 file for Mac users. So try different outputs if you're on Windows and see what works best for you. But hopefully now you should be able to know how to do your first little quick animation like this. You may be wondering like how do I make like cool like curving motions and things like that, and like rotations, like the ship may be like turning as it's going forward. That's going to be in more advanced. That's when you need to use things called paths. We will be doing that in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There's going to be more in the future. Sorry if that echo did cause a little bit of problems, but I hope you guys got the idea. And then when you're done, so once you have this all set, you're just going to come over here and render animation. And then this may take a little bit of time, but it's going to go frame by frame. So it's going to do 80 frames for us. And then you can see it's running right here. And when it's done, it'll actually be .mov. MP4 is the MPEG output over here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.